Happening. Yeah, I just want to discuss some info warfare, some guerrilla info warfare tactics here. It's like okay, guerrilla warfare is like basically when it's more of an unorganized but yet organized form of fighting, and then most of the time it's a it's a resistance or a smaller force against a greater force, or it could be an equal force just using different tactics because they got different types of skills or equipment, you know. But basically, it's it's about using what's available to you and making it work for you, making it work better. Um, Basically, and it's also about breaking form and coming in a way that they could no way perceive, or they didn't expect. Here's some of the ways that is done. Like there is faking retreat, kind of, or you know what I'm saying, or letting someone else come at you with a full blare, and you kind of back away as they start their advance. You know what I'm saying? And as they advance, you back away. You stay right there, right at the outside of range, but you know, in a way, and then you try to let them exhaust their charge, and then after they charge, then you use what your reserves on them, your reserve tank. See, your backing up only used half of your reserve tank, but they threw all their tank plus they put 150% in it, so now they're famished. And then if they didn't accomplish taking you out, basically, you're there and you bounce back even stronger in that situation. Or you know, sometimes you go with the flow, and then it's kind of like when someone throws a baseball to you, instead of you going like this to catch it, you wait till it gets to your glove and then you pull back a little bit, and it kind of, you use that effect, you use their charge and you flip it on them. And some of the ways you do that is, for instance, once you recognize a subliminal, when they use a sexual subliminal, where they try to get you to buy something by sneaking in some kind of sexual shape or image that's that's disguised as something that's non-threatening. You know what I mean? Like there's many examples of that. Once you can recognize these things and you point out the fact that it's a sublim, now it's almost like in Vietnam when soldiers would drop things, the Viet Cong would take these things and incorporate them into their traps. They'd basically take like a boot or a hat or a clip or a gun, and they would put it, you know, off to the side. They drag it off to the side. They'd attach it to the end of a wire. When you pick it up, it pulls a pin out of a grenade, and bam, bad news for whoever took that bait. But I mean, in a way, that's the way. That's how the guerrilla warfare works. It's like, all right, whatever you're gonna use, I'm gonna flip it and take it, and I'm not gonna do anything with it. I'm just gonna attach it to this wire here. So whoever you guys come back, pick this thing up and try to use it later, it's kabang. It backfires on the people who purposed it for evil. You take it and you use it back on them. That's your guerrilla tactics. There is that you use what they give you, repurpose it, and give it back. Basically, that's how you do it. Like with the sublims, for instance, you point that out over and over again. You catch them in a lie, expose that lie over and over and over and over and over again. It depends on their intention. Okay, if someone's intentionally going out and lying, well, then every time they intentionally do that and you catch them, you get to use that on them, and point it out, and then it shuts them down. It doesn't. It smothers the fire. It smothers their fire. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want. You don't want to throw gas on it and only give them a bigger blaze for it to draw more people into the attention there. Uh, Unless, you know what I'm saying, these people want to keep throwing gas on their own fire, and it's like, all right, well, if you want to go out in a blaze of glory and stick to your guns, and it's done shown the lie or the hypocrisy or whatnot, and you got the evidence to put that out. It's like, well, see, they want to start a brush fire in your mind, this false brush fire though, these fake cry wolf decoys, cluster flare tactics where they try to throw so many fires out that you can't really locate the actual threat. Where is this coming from? There's so many fires from these false flags, these false flag events, that you can't actually zero in on where the actual it's almost like you the arms of the squid as opposed to the brain of the squid. We want to shoot these darts at this brain, but they want to keep us dealing with the arms. So it can sacrifice 7 arms and it's still got an arm and it's still got his brain. So or whatnot. I'm not sure if maybe that's octopus, but still the analogy works there. Yep, it's the same thing. It's like once you it's most of their weapons are lies and dirty tricks. And so like all magicians tricks and all those sleight of hand movements, once you discover the formula that they're using to hide whatever they're trying to hide, it sticks out like a sore thumb now, and it actually is can be used to throw a monkey wrench in their plans because they depend on a lie, a deception, and secrecy. So once you expose all these things, they they lose their advantage, their high ground, their advantageous positioning, because they always use some kind of lie. Therefore, that fact that they always use some kind of lie in their political agendas and their politics and their ideologies, that you just find out what those lies are. There it is. Therein lies how you can make the thing topple itself, because once the lies exposed, the more they go to compensate with more lies, and then it's easier to expose them for the initial thing, and they kind of do it to themselves. That the fact that they react so harshly, it shows that it must be it's like basically if you poke someone, they say ouch, it's proof that that spot there's a wound or a bruise or something there. It's a sore spot. So you can find it's like pressure point fighting. You know what I'm saying? And you can find their major choke points in their philosophy, in their scheme, in this false reality that they're projecting, in this reality they're bending. It's like you start to bend it back, and these magicians are standing there going like this, and you can tell who is actually projecting the false matrix. You know what I'm saying? They stand out once again like a sore thumb. And they like to consolidate their power. You know what I'm saying? And once again, you can see that they are all bound by blood oaths and oaths of secrecy, and therefore they could never turn on their own, right? So therefore, that's a way to spot them out as well. Once again, the thing of it, dividing your forces in a way too. That's like coordinatedly having people coming from different directions, or attacking different parts of their forces. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, if people worked in concert with one another, you could have two guys over here keeping all the trolleys and all the magicians busy, and all their attentions over here, and you can send these other guys that ain't saying nothing, and all of a sudden they can boom start dropping some knowledge, because I'm talking about knowledge game here, even though I'm applying it through the lens of An Art of War, Musashi type of lens. But it works. It does apply in the same thing with the guerrilla warfare tactics, and that's the guerrilla warfare. It's not something greater forces or like, listen, someone who's whipping ass. Normally they don't have to resort to guerrilla tactics, so they don't really look at them so much because they don't have to, because it's normally coming from someone who's underfunded or undermanned, or they got some kind of they're coming from a disadvantageous point. So, but You can level the playing field if you change your tactics and you make it work for you. See, and another thing about guerrilla warfare is like you outmaneuver them in your own lands as well. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that they're taking you on, but then again, this is your home territory, and you can always you and the locals can always outmaneuver these people. Or if you work as scouts for other people, like other allies who want to come and join in on the festivities, you know, uh, and you can give them the inside edge on the lay of the land as well. But likewise, they also could find traders and employ them, and they could be guerrilla. They could wage a guerrilla warfare tactics through a proxy group like they do on the internet with trolls and government shills, like paid shills, people shills who get paid. Like some people just troll because they like to hate, or other people just troll because they like information. They don't say nothing. They don't hate. They're just listening. Those are that kind of trolling is okay. You know what I'm saying? Trolling is you could say there's two ways you can look at the troll. This is the troll. He sits under the bridge. You pass over their bridge, they're gonna jump out and say, "We want silver or whatever." And then there's another kind of trolling. That's like when the boat they kind of roll in a boat down the stream and they just got their hooks out in the water and they're just kind of pulling it and dragging it. I think that's called trolling as well. So there's these assholes out there that plague everyone's channel making nasty comments, and it's like they're trolling their lure and they're seeing who will play the game of let's go back and forth and look dumb on your feed or whatever. Let's sway the momentum of this of whatever the message is into back and forth argumentation and on the sidelines. Uh and that's you can't take the bait there. Recognize whoa, I'm getting drawn into a battle of troll, which it's I seen this documentary. It was called Multiviewed Cults of Abuse, and it was about Scientology and how the Scientology guys, if you're an anti-Scientology activist, they send these groups of gang stalkers after you, and they try to henpeck you, and they keep messing with you. So they hit all your buttons, and they try to get all passive aggressive until you blow up and you say, "Will you stop it? Get away from me!" And then they record you and be like, "Ha ha ha ha! See, we got you. You're unreasonable. You're stupid. This, whatever, that." They try to draw you into a meltdown. You know what I'm saying? But that was their whole thing. They were trying to draw you in a way. They're using those kind of tactics as well. It's like they make you perceive a weakness, or they lie in wait with soldiers, or they provoke you to anger. So you're hell bent on revenge and setting your name straight. But in that process, you're so messed up, and you're so clouded from anger and being like from being done wrong in a way, because they might say something that really totally is like those are fighting words. So in a way, you're right, but in the end, you're wrong, because in that particular situation, they set you up, so therefore they controlled you with your anger, and that's part of your cults and what they do as well. And once again, part of guerrilla strategy is seeing these tactics that they use and somehow redirecting them so that they work for you. Their energy, the stuff that they're throwing at you, in a way, it's like they throw arrows. Well, I'm picking up the arrows from out the trees and shooting them back. You know what I mean? It's using whatever they're throwing, you throw it right back at them, or you attach it to a string and leave it out for them to pick up, and then come on. You know what I'm saying? Or you retreat over the hill and you got all your guys camped out waiting across the corner, but you needed to draw out the people that are the true aggressors, the microaggressors. Before they go full-blown aggression, they go microaggression. And that is so subtle and covert, an outsider the audience wouldn't even see that it was going on. Only the two engaged in the struggle or whatever. And they use these types of tactics too. But when you got like operatives working together, direct, indirect forces, you can actually outplay these people and outmaneuver them at their own game and use everything they throw at you. You can flip it and turn it around and send it right back at them, and it's got double the momentum